والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved brothers and sisters, honorable ulama, judge, mothers and fathers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. كيف حالكم? Alhamdulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters, slightly unconventional. We normally have the fiqh on a Monday, but I was unable to deliver it on the past Monday evening. So we will get our short fiqh lesson this evening, inshallah. This evening we are still in Kitab al-Salah, the chapter of Salah. And we start with the arkan of Salah, the pillars or the integrals of Salah. And this is a very, very important area of fiqh, because a Muslim or the iman of a Muslim is dependent on that Muslim performing salah. The 5 times salah keeps a person Muslim. Foregoing it leads to the person, as many ulama indicate, leaving the fold of Islam. So if this ibadah is so important, it's critical that you have a clear understanding, and that I have a clear understanding of the arkan of the salah, because we cannot make a mistake with the arkan. The arkan, the pillars, keep that form of ibadah in place. Without it, there is no such ibadah. And the arkan, or the integrals, the pillars of salah, the Shaykh indicates arkanus salah sab'ata ashar. There are 17 pillars of salah. These 17 pillars must be in place. But tonight, I will just only do the first 2, inshallah. Al-awwal, al-niyya, wal-thani, takbiratul ihram. I'm only going to look at the first 2 very briefly this evening, inshallah. The first one is the niyya, the intention, and the second is takbiratul ihram, the opening takbir of the salah. There are specific laws of fiqh that apply to this. So we firstly talk about the niyyah. Now classically, I think for many of us, from the time of, as they say, slums school, madrasa, maktab, we have been taught how to recite the niyyah, the different formats. And those are excellent formats. But what's important in fiqh, this is the point that I want all of us to remember regarding niyyah, because without the niyyah, there is no salah. And what if you entered the salah and at a certain point you realize, I never made a niyyah? What do you then do? Because the ibadah is dependent on that niyyah. So regarding the niyyah, it is wajib for the niyyah to be made in the heart. Wajib. It's a pillar of the salah, but the niyyah must be in the heart. And of course, with the heart is the mind. If a mistake is made with the tongue, it doesn't override the heart. So if you've memorized a niyyah, nawaitu usalli fard al-maghrib 3 raka'atin lillahi ta'ala, for example. Let's say you made a mistake in that recitation. But in your heart, you knew that you are about to perform a fard salah, it is maghrib, and there's going to be 3 raka'at in the salah. If that is banked in the heart, in the mind, a mistake with the tongue has no bearing. So it is wajib for it to be in the heart, and in the Shafi'i madhab, it is mustahab to utter it with the tongue, so that the tongue moves with the recitation of the niyyah, but not necessarily that it is heard by someone else. Because the timing of the niyyah, so the ulama write that the timing of the niyyah of your salah is with the takbiratul ihram. So the takbiratul ihram, now that we come to it, is the opening takbir of the salah. And this takbir is also accompanied with the raising of hands. So the opening of the salah is very, very important. You cannot rush into the opening of the salah. So if you have your niyyah must be within your heart by the time your takbiratul ihram is done. So if you say Allahu Akbar, as you say bar, that last enunciation, and your hands fold, by the time that occurs, the niyyah must be banked. You can't be in the salah and then realize I actually never made a niyyah. I just ran. If that occurs, you have to begin the salah, restart it. And you have some time because you can then because there is no ibadah, you're not in an ibadah. You just have to make your niyyah and make takbiratul ihram, which means that your hands are going to be raised. But importantly, the niyyah must be secured by the time takbiratul ihram is made. It ends. So if your tongue moves as you're about to make the salah with your niyyah, that's fine. The niyyah, of course, is made after the iqamah. As the imam steps up, if you're not the imam, if the imam steps up onto the musalla and he begins, you can make your niyyah at that stage once you are in your saf. But it must be made by the time you have completed your takbiratul ihram. And the takbiratul ihram must be recited firstly in Arabic. Now we talk about how loud must that be. Do you say Allahu Akbar? You would say it loudly for someone next to you to hear it if you are essentially on your own. But if you are following an imam, it is wajib upon the imam to say it loudly. But if you are following Allah, but the person next to you it shouldn't be that loud that two people away from you hear it. Because the imam had the duty of saying it loudly. But on your own, you should pronounce the takbirs of the salah. Okay? But with particular emphasis on the opening takbir. So with the opening takbir, the imam, Allahu Akbar, Allah. Softly, not to disturb others, and you, of course, can recite it at that point. And now we talk about the hands, because the hands must be raised with the takbiratul ihram. Right? If you are able to raise hands, you raise it with the takbiratul ihram. The hands must be raised. Let me read as the Shaykh has written. It is mustahab to raise the hands from the beginning of takbiratul ihram to the shoulder level, meaning that one's fingertips are even with the tips of the ears, thumbs with the earlobes, and palms with one's shoulders. The fingers slightly outspread and the palms face the direction of Qibla, and the hands are uncovered. This is the etiquette of Takbiratul Ihram. So, now when you make your Takbiratul Ihram, many ulama indicate that your hands must go at least as high as your shoulders, right? But it can go towards the earlobes. It shouldn't go behind the ears. So when you begin the salah, it contributes to your khushu', your concentration. You focus, and I focus when we enter the salah. You've made your niyyah, and you're paying attention, then the hands come up. The ulama also indicate the hands must not be covered with a sheet or a shawl. So if you are, maybe it's cold now, and you have a shawl on, there must be movement of the hands. You have to adjust your shawl so that the hands can move easily. But you shouldn't be wrapped completely closed that the hands cannot move. And some people, they might have their hands under a shawl maybe. They can't lift it underneath. That's against the etiquette of Takbiratul Ihram. So the hands must be above and it must be able to be raised. And then my last point regarding the raising of hands. So when do we raise hands for takbir now? So we establish you raise it for takbiratul ihram. But there are takbirs throughout the salah. So when do you raise it? When you are about to go into ruku', right? You're bowing. When you come up from the ruku', and after the first tashahhud. So that's after 2 rak'ahs. So at the beginning of the rak'ah, takbiratul ihram, you raise it to go down in ruku', and you raise it, and this is in the Shafi'i madhab, you raise it when you come back up from ruku'. Then you won't, for the next takbir to go down into sajda, there won't be any hand raising. The next time you raise hands for a rak'ah, at the beginning of a rak'ah, is after that first tashahhud. So that would be all the salawat excluding fajr. So dhuhr, you made 2 rak'ahs sitting in your first tashahhud. When you come up, the hands go up at that stage. So that's an important part regarding the hands. So we conclude this evening, inshallah, that the niyyah must be made by takbiratul ihram. Now, if the ulama have also mentioned, what if you didn't say anything and you entered the salah? Is there a niyyah for that salah? Now, in all likelihood, if you approached a jama'ah of salah, you were quite clear, unless there could have been some question of your aql. But generally, if you are walking towards a salah in a masjid, you know that this is a fard of whatever. So even if your tongue never moved, but your heart was very sure that this is the fard of that salah, then the niyyah is in place. So if you, Allahu Akbar, in the salah, and now you think, did I recite a niyyah? Now, if you already knew this is dhuhr salah, then your niyyah is in place according to most ulama. If you weren't sure, sometimes you, maybe you are a traveler and you go to a place and you're not sure which waqt they made, and maybe you perform a waqt and they said, no, that wasn't that yet. And so you were confused. A niyyah is of the arkan of the salah. And secondly, we raise our hands with the takbiratul ihram. Any questions about these 2 pillars? Okay. Jazakallah khairan wa sallallahu wa sallam alayhi walhamdulillah.